Another busy day in New York City sports. Justin Fields gives us quite an injury scare. The Yankee defense hits rock bottom. WFAN released its quarter-century baseball team, and there are some issues with it. But I got to tell you, I think I represent a lot of people. I can't say everybody, a lot of people when I say that. I grew up, and Hogan was my guy. And I obviously then grew to hate Hulk Hogan. I mean, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I didn't like him at the end for a myriad of reasons. Whether it's the racist tape from 10 years ago,
right?
Whether it's lying constantly, but I also appreciate everything he did for professional wrestling, which is something I love. I still love wrestling to this day. I still watch it with my kids. And it ain't here without him. It's a complicated legacy like most people. Most people don't have simple legacies. It is damn complicated. But when I go and turn the TV on Friday night to watch SmackDown, or I go to SummerSlam in a week and a half, which I plan on doing, I am fully aware that none of that exists without the star power and the magnitude of Hulk Hogan. And this is going to sound really cheesy, but it's so true. When I got the news, like we all did, that he passed away today at the age of 71, in this fictitious world in my mind, I figured he'd live forever. I figured he was immortal. He told me he was immortal. And it's weird to think he's not here. So he, from an entertainment standpoint, from a pop culture standpoint, from a pro wrestling standpoint, you don't have to like him, but you can't deny the incredible impact that guy had.
He was the entertainer of our generation. Early in our childhoods, depending on what age you were, you couldn't help but be drawn to him.
Yes.
It was almost as if athlete meets cartoon character, but it's a real person. And the stuff with the steroids and the lying and all that stuff, I didn't care. It was the personal stuff that bothered me because it felt like he was a bad person.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he was exactly what he advertised himself as to be, which is just this larger-than-life, physically, emotionally person who captivated you, even if you didn't like him.
No doubt. I mean, when I got into pro wrestling and my dad got me into pro wrestling, Hogan was my guy, just like everybody else.
He was everybody's guy.
He was everybody's guy.
Eventually, I moved to the Ultimate Warrior, but...
See, that I did not do. When Warrior beat Hogan at 6, I was very upset. I think the moment where I turned on Hulk Hogan, believe it or not, was WrestleMania 9, for those that remember. He was gone, he came back, and he basically stole the WWF Championship from either Bret Hart or Yokozuna, take your pick.
Right.
And so at that moment, because I give my dad a lot of credit for this, and I try to do this with my kids, the first thing my dad told me about pro wrestling, the first thing was, it's fixed. First thing he told me.
Right.
There was no illusion. There was no make-believe. It was...
So why were you mad at him then?
It's when I started to realize the behind-the-scenes stuff.
That he orchestrated it being his new championship.
So in my brain as a 9-year-old,
yes.
I got you. Which no one knew at the time. We later found out, yes, that's pretty much what happened. But I think in my brain, I was like, look at this egotistical bastard. Like, he's coming back. He's taking the title from Bret or Yoko. This is ridiculous. Then I started to like Hulk again. And again, I think I represent a lot of people in my age group when I say this. I didn't like him. And then it was Hulk Hogan and NWO for life. The greatest heel turn in the history of professional wrestling. When he pulled that off in 1996, I'm 13 years old, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. We all did. He was the badass heel. Like, a part of Hulk Hogan is that he aged with my demographic. First, he was the guy we looked up to with the vitamins and the muscles, and we're going to beat all the monsters.
And by vitamins, you mean steroids.
I didn't know that at the time.
No, right.
Actually, my dad told me right around WrestleMania 8. Yeah, he's probably juiced up.
But then again, who cares? It's entertainment.
You're right. Like, at that point,
it's not real sports.
There's no competitive edge in professional wrestling other than Vince McMahon liking a bigger body. You know what I mean? But I soured on him. Then he became this badass heel in WCW, and I liked him again. Then I sort of forgot about him. Then he came back, and he's main eventing WrestleMania against The Rock, and I loved him again. And then he became old and a hindrance, and he wouldn't put over younger guys. And stories came out that he was really selfish. And then obviously the racist tirade that he had that came out, believe it or not, 10 years ago to the day. July 24th, 2015. And I'm sorry, for anyone who wants this to be all rah-rahs and pom-poms, that's not what happens when people pass away.
No.
Like, you have to discuss their entire legacy, good and bad. Because there's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad. But 10 years ago to the day is when that video leaked, in which Hulk Hogan was just, let's call it like it is, just an out-and-out racist.
Right.
And the WWE fired him. They got rid of him. They erased him. Then they brought him back, and he's sort of been around. Fans don't really or didn't really love him. And I think now you just look at him and say, look, there's no denying the impact the man made. Wrestling doesn't exist without him. You mentioned he's like the entertainment of our lifetime. Like, he changed so much, and it's surreal to think he's not, we're not going to hear that cheesy music one more time, and he's going to walk out there and put his hand to his ear.
I'm a great American. Is that what it was? I can't think.
Real American?
I forget what the title was. But
I am a real American. Oh, no. Is that the actual word?
It goes something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember it now. I know it was
You
something
can
around
play
that.
it, Connor, whenever you find it, if you want to find. See, I think of Hulk Hogan with 2 songs.
Well, see, Connor doesn't even know.
Oh, Connor knows. You know the Hulk
He's
song.
too young.
Come on.
I don't remember his heyday, obviously, but
Yeah.
everybody knows Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, that's what. Of course, everybody knows Hulk Hogan. But the heyday was when you didn't know if it was real or not. That's when he was amazing.
You know what's funny? His heyday to many, and I think you're alluding to this, is the late 80s, early 90s, when he brought wrestling to the next level. I could argue his heyday was when he was a heel in WCW. I mean, that's when wrestling reached its pinnacle of popularity.
I think I was checked out by then.
No, I get you. I want to thank my dad. He got me the one time I saw Hulk Hogan, the first time I saw Hulk Hogan in person, one of the rare times, was at Nassau Coliseum, Hulk Hogan, Bad News Brown. That was the matchup. But yeah, Hulk Hogan passing away at 71. Should we move on to baseball now? Was that enough?
We didn't quite get to the sex tape.
There's a lot, man. Look, there's a lot. Look, Hulk Hogan came back a few months ago, and he came back to sell his Real American beer, and he got booed. And there was like this debate about why he got booed. It wasn't really a debate. He didn't get booed because he supported Donald Trump. Like, people thought that, and it's like, not really. The WWE supports Donald Trump. Donald Trump's in the WWE Hall of Fame. It wasn't that. I think it was twofold. I think, number one, it was the fact that a racist tape came out about it.
Right. You can't fluently use the N-word like that.
No, absolutely not.
Right.
And I think to a smaller degree, Teague, I think the other thing was it came out that he just wasn't a good guy behind the scenes, that he would orchestrate, I'm not losing, that doesn't work for me, brother, things like that. And so by the time he came back, like, his reputation had been soiled. But I think as he passes away today, most people are going to remember him for the Pythons and the championships and getting you into wrestling. Because like myself, a lot of people got into pro wrestling because of Hulk Hogan. Most people grew up and got out of it. Some people like me and Tommy stayed in it forever, and we can't wait for Cody John Cena at SummerSlam next week.
Yeah, we're still here. Many of you grew up Hulkamaniacs. You grew up. Perhaps you stopped in on Hollywood Hogan, and then you graduated from wrestling. Evan and I, Evan's in his 40s, I'll be 40. We are still wrestling fans. So for that, though, I would like to thank Hulk Hogan for that,
Absolutely.
because wrestling has provided me so much more joy. Maybe even more joy than sports, because usually they give me the outcome I'm looking for. Sports, I don't always get the outcome I'm looking for. So for him, I would thank him.
And if you
for
don't get the outcome you're looking for, you're like, it's not real anyways.
You're
It's
right.
all good.
You're right. Like, the day Hogan stole the title from Yoko and Brett at WrestleMania 9, and I may have told this story once. I made a bet with a friend of mine. I bet that Yoko would win. He bet Brett would win. And so Yoko did win the match, and then Hogan says, I'm going to challenge you when he took the title. And my friend said, well, he won the bet. I was like, you didn't win the bet. You said Brett would win. I said Yoko. Yoko won the match. We didn't know Hulk Hogan was going to cash in Money in the Bank years before it existed. When that happened and I was pissed off, I shut the TV off and eventually I went to bed. I didn't cry myself to sleep. When Kenny Rogers walked Andrew Jones with the bases loaded in Game 6 of the NLCS, I cried myself to sleep. So you're right. You may not like the result of professional wrestling, but at least for me, it never made me cry myself to sleep.
You're entertained by it no matter what. Even if the guy or gal you're pulling for doesn't win, it still provides that entertainment. And to me, nobody was a bigger entertainer or star in the history of wrestling than Hulk Hogan.
No question. And nothing can change that. You don't have to like him. You can hate the legacy at the end, even some of his wrestling at the end. If there is a Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling, we can debate who the other Rocks are. We can. And I don't mean the Rock. We can debate who's on the Stones. There's one lock. And that lock is Hulk Hogan.
What you gonna do when Hulkamania and the largest arms in the world run wild on you?
Now, you hear that now, and you're like, that is
corny.
It sounds so corny and over the top. It's
Yeah,
not
but you know what? The Rock would sound corny too right now, and over the top.
I'm going to kick your Rudy Poo candy. You think that's...
smell where the Rock is cooking?
By the way, to answer that question, there is a Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling, and it's very, very simple. It is, are you ready for it? Mm-hmm. It is Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino, okay, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Roman Reigns. That's it. Sorry, John.
John Cena?
He got knocked off. Why? It was John till recently.
Why? Because he can't pull off the heel?
No, I think Roman passed him. I think it's just sometimes like you get knocked off. Like Bruno and Hogan and Austin, to me, can never be knocked off, just based on what they did for the company and the history. Bruno created, in my opinion, professional wrestling, was champion for a million years. We just talked about Hulk Hogan's legacy. Stone Cold was the biggest star during the most economically booming time in pro wrestling. And then I think that fourth spot is up to debate. Like, I understand the John Cena argument. To me, it's Roman Reigns, and that's your Mount Rushmore. But Hogan, I think, is permanently, no matter what you think about him, he is permanently enshrined as one of those stones in the fake mountain we all created of pro wrestling.
And you talk about The Rock, you talk about John Cena, and maybe they'll go down more for their acting careers. Hogan, the first to be an actor, Rocky III, Thunder Lips, all the, even
Thunder Lips.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah, he did a lot of movies back then. I'm not saying they're all great, but he was really that first one, Piper 2, to kind of cross over and be in movies, and now all the wrestlers are basically big stars, at least.
The problem with Hogan is, like, Rocky III was huge for professional wrestling. Sylvester Stallone, Hulk Hogan as Thunder Lips, Mr. T, like, it was huge. But when Hogan tried to be the leading man, the way The Rock and John Cena have successfully pulled it off, he failed.
Did he have one?
Yes, he did. He did Suburban Commando. That was a failure. He did Santa with Muscles. That was a failure.
It was literally called Santa with Muscles.
Yeah. Oh, I know the movies. Wow. I know it. And the first one was actually the one I watched. The wrestling one with Zeus. What was it called again?
No Holds Barred.
Thank you.
And then he actually, wrestled Zeus in an actual wrestling match, maybe at SummerSlam or something like that in a tag match.
That's when you knew. Yes, it was Hogan and Brutus against Macho and Zeus in a tag match.
The Human Wrecking Machine.
Then they booked it in a steel cage a few months later. That was a straight-to-pay-per-view kind of BS thing. If you didn't know wrestling was pretend then, I don't know what's wrong with you. I mean,
I'm aware of how destiny is going to take its course, brother.
He did a lot of movies.
Yeah, but they all were bad.
Oh, they're all B movies. They're probably worse. They're probably D movies at this point, but he did a lot of movies.
No, he did. And he was like that first guy to make that jump.
Yeah.
Anyhow, let's get to the Yankees. What a transition. We could sit here for 2 hours and 3 hours and go over how pathetic was last night. Just the rock bottom nature of last night's loss. And it was. We all know it. They made 4 errors. They made more defensive miscues than even that. It was very typical of kind of Game 5 of the World Series last year. It was bad. And I get it. And I think every Yankee fan had a tough time going to sleep last night. And we get it. For whatever reason, their defense in Toronto has been atrocious. Their defense all year, especially over the last month and a half, has been bad. Instead of regurgitating the hate and the anger we have, we got to offer solutions.
Well, hold on. It's not offering solutions yet. It's offering what needs to be done from a leadership standpoint. Now, I said this last year, and I remember Aaron Boone always, we got so much in front of us, we'll be fine.
Right.
It's not, don't worry about it. We're actually good defensively. The errors running on the base pass and the field, it doesn't matter. We're a good team. And you know what? He survived that nonsense because they got to the World Series. And this year, he's saying the same things. And I know he can't throw his guys under the bus, but at some point, somebody has to get angry. At some point, somebody has to say, this is unacceptable how poorly we play as fielders, how we run the base pass. These things that ultimately come back and bite you against good teams keep happening over and over and over again. Now, I don't know if it's the pressure, but somebody has to say something. And
who?
I don't think it's going to be Aaron Boone.
Clearly
and
not.
So for the first time, and I think forever, this is where you have to, if you're Aaron Judge, the king of New York sports and the king of the Yankees, open your mouth and say something. You have to, Aaron Judge, because they'll listen to you, right? He knows that they're playing bad, and it's not just the guys that are the usual suspects like Anthony Volpe. It's everybody.
Yeah.
Cody Bellinger had a bad day yesterday. Max Fried, who's a Gold Glove pitcher, he had a bad day. The catcher, Skara, he had a bad situation. All of these guys need to be held to account. And I'm not saying have one of these like private meetings and and hash it out and everybody yells and screams and they hug each other and it's all hunky dory. You need public accountability sometimes. And it's the one thing that I hate that the Yankees don't do. No one ever gets publicly made accountable. And that needs to happen for this team. Otherwise, we just kind of assume that you're okay with it as a fan base.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work.
You make a great point because I think when there's a bad day, you don't want to go crazy.
Yes.
When there's a bad week, you don't necessarily want to go crazy.
Right.
When there's a bad stretch, you don't want to go crazy. This is a common thing. And Aaron Boone can sit there in post-game press conferences and say it's not a common thing and deny the reality of the franchise he's managed for a long time now. But you're right. This has been going on for a long time. And the question I have is Aaron Judge even the guy to do that? Like, is that his personality to stand in front of the room?
Well, the question is he pissed off about this? Do we think Aaron Judge is pissed off?
How could he not be?
King Aaron Judge is pissed off about this.
And before anybody makes a comment about Game 5, that's a one-off. Like, Aaron Judge is a Gold Glove caliber outfielder.
He's fantastic. We've seen it all year.
Yeah.
Diving catches, running down balls in the corners, everything. He does his part. I'm not even talking about him as a fielder. I'm just talking about him as the captain.
Right.
Like the literal captain for this team. He's got the C, even though they don't wear the C. But you know what I mean? He is the guy. And he does it because he's an MVP. He's a homegrown hero here. But he needs to hold his team accountable. And I don't know if it's his personality to do it. But sometimes leadership is that. Right? Even if it's uncomfortable for you, you have to make guys accountable. And it doesn't feel like there's enough of this on this Yankees team this year.
It doesn't. It doesn't feel that way. I mean, after the game, and I would advise any Yankee fan, not that you should shut off our radio station or shut off TV, but after you lose a game like that, go to sleep. Because if you listen to what is said by the manager of this team, if you listen to what is said from guys on this team, it ain't going to make you feel better. In a lot of ways, it's going to make you feel worse. Like, I get it. Aaron Boone's job isn't to appease us. He made that very clear the other day when he had that interaction with John Boy and Jake. He's like, listen, they're not machines. They're not robots. Right. I don't care what you want, is what Aaron said. And let's not get it twisted. Aaron wasn't saying that specifically to just John Boy, who's a great Yankee fan. He was saying it to all of you.
Yes.
He was saying very quick, I don't care what you think about what I say. And what I'm telling you is, as a Yankee fan, don't listen to what he says. Because if you do, you're going to get pissed. And you know who else got pissed at what Aaron Boone said last night? And I have the audio evidence because I want everybody to listen to it. If you did shut our station off last night, if you did shut off from listening to Aaron Boone, it's not Aaron Boone. I'm not going to play you Aaron Boone. I'm going to play you Susan Waldman. Describing what Aaron Boone said in the post-game press conference, and you're going to hear Susan, who has watched more baseball than everybody, kind of in her voice and to a degree in her words, show you the disgust of what Aaron is telling us after games. But you're right. We're not getting that message from Boone. We haven't gotten it from Judge. It'd be nice to get it from Judge. Now, we'll play that audio. I'll also at least offer you the solutions on what they should do differently in terms of who should play. Because some of the errors are on guys who shouldn't be playing the positions they're playing. So we'll get to that. We'll get to your calls as well on the Yankees, on Hulk Hogan, on the Mets, on the Justin Fields injury scare. We got a lot to get to. 888-808-1019.